the i59 by Ping, and we're going to be putting it up against my Titleist MB.
Lee, thank you for allowing us to Ashbury Golf Resort and your wonderful studio.
Always welcome, you know that.
So we're going to do this review today. Give me your first sort of thoughts on these two clubs.
That wins.
Already?
Yeah, that's it. End of comparison. It's interesting because we've now put this up against other clubs. We've reviewed it independently, and I've always thought this was so compact and squat that it fills me with no confidence. Compared to this looks like a game improvement iron. Like, I'm picking this because of the size of it. That is just tiny. It's like, is there even a golf club there? I'm looking forward to the comparison, but I think I know where this is going for me, definitely.
Okay, we're going to start off with the Ping. So I'm going to hit 6 shots with the Ping, then I'm going to move into my Titleist, hit 6 shots with the Titleist, see what the numbers come out with. Also going to get Lee to do exactly the same. Okay, first impressions looking down at the Ping. I've said it in my review before, but I absolutely love the look of this. And to be fair, the more I hit this club, and I've had a few sessions with it now, I've had it on the course, I've had a few reviews, I've had a couple of compares with it now, and every time I hit it, I feel like it's getting nicer and nicer and nicer for me. This club is just feeling and looking exactly what I want to see with a bladed iron. Very little offset, a nice thin top line, and that hydro pearl finish. Well, what's not to like about it? It just has, it oozes class to me, this iron. It absolutely does ooze class. That small finish on it just gives me confidence that I can zone in a little bit more, gets my sort of attention a little bit more when I look down at it. And for me, concentration is quite important. So if I get a club that's quite big, I've found that I don't concentrate quite as much because I don't need to hit the middle of the bat, whereas if I have something nice and small and compact, it makes me focus just that little bit more. Feel off the face for me, again in the review I said it, but it has that soft feel off the face, even though there's a lot of technology that's gone into the head of this club, so you would say that it's not your traditional blade from that point of view, but it absolutely feels very, very soft and solid off the face at the same time, which to me gives me instant feedback. So that solid feel gives me that feedback of where I've hit it kind of in the face, but that soft feel just gives me that feedback of the fact that it's just still a traditional feeling blade. So if we now look down at both these irons, the Titleist in my right hand, the Ping in my left hand, it's really easy to see the differences now that we're getting from these two clubs. And the big difference for me looking down is this thin top line that you get out of the Titleist compared to the Ping. I mean, the Ping does look nice when you look down at it on its own, but when you then compare it to then the Titleist, this Titleist really has a thin top line, and I always said that the Ping is quite a squat, small looking head. Well, the Titleist then just blows it out of the water. The Titleist has a very, very small profile, and again, I've talked about it previously, but I like that. I like the sort of smaller look. It makes me concentrate that little bit more, but this is as pure as it gets. For me, this is traditional. This is as traditional as it will get from any blade. And probably if you compare the two of them, I think probably the Titleist is going to look just that little bit less offset as well. I'm going to say that there's not a lot of difference between them, but possibly the Titleist just gives you that feel that it's a little bit more what I would say onset than offset. Again, for lots of players that like a blade, they kind of want to see that as well from feedback that I've had. And that shot there, just a slight mishit, but again, when I mishit blades, I want that club to drop short. I don't want to see it go too long. I want it to sort of give me feedback instantly of where I've hit it in the face, and when you mishit both of them, you're going to get feedback across the face of where you've hit it, and to me that's really important. When I've hit game improvement irons in the past, you know, you hit it anywhere on the face and you don't really know where you've hit it. You're not getting good feedback from the club, whereas a blade, well, that's what you're kind of getting into really. You're getting into that sensation of where you've struck it across the face. That's one thing I do like about them.
Numbers then, Lee, where are we with mine?
So we've already done this in the review,
Yes.
but it's different. It's weird how things change from day to day. So ball speed, nothing in it, 115 and 115.8. Put the standard deviation to account, they overlap. Launch angle is, your Titleist are launching 2 degrees higher than the ping, which is interesting because you always said the ping you thought was higher when you were playing with it.
And in the review it was.
It was, but today we look at the peak heights. That's not the case. The Titleist is peaking out a lot higher than the ping.
It's a funny old game, isn't it?
Golf. Spin. So spin on your Titleist 5.5, exactly where I want to see it with the 6 iron. But you're spinning the ping today, pretty much where you'd expect a 7 iron to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's causing the drop off in distance because. Although the ping is actually a stronger loft than your Titleist, because your Titleist are very traditional at 35 degree 7 iron.
Yeah.
Your Titleist is actually travelling 3 yards further. Deviation into account, they're probably overlapping.
Okay.
So there's not really a great deal in it, except your Titleist is going a lot higher today than it did over the review. Okay, so if we look at the club head data then, efficiency, next to nothing in it, very efficient. Head speed are 0.5 mile an hour, so next to nothing, take deviations into account. Dynamic loft, only 0.6 of a degree, so very similar again. I think the big factor here is strike location.
Yeah.
And that's higher in the face, so it's going to come off with a bit less spin.
Yeah.
Whereas with the ping being low in the face, it's spinning up. And I think that's where we're seeing the difference is purely strike location. You put head speed, ball speed, efficiency, everything into account, they're the same club. It's just today you were striking the Titleist a bit higher than you were the ping. In the review, they were pretty much the identical club. Ping to start with then, Dan.
Your go, yeah.
I've hit this a few times now because like you said, we've done a few reviews on it.
Yeah.
And it's still just as small as it's been in all those other reviews.
No different.
Doesn't grow, unfortunately.
Doesn't get any bigger.
No, it still looks tiny. It still looks like I just don't want to go anywhere near this part of the club.
No.
So,
I mean, you said it, I know this is a 6 iron, but you said it with the 4 iron, didn't you, when we were doing the review, that you really didn't have any confidence, but once you hit it, your confidence grew.
Yeah, 100%. It was, if I was just looking at this club, I'd be like, no, next club please. But after I hit it, and especially that 4 iron, I almost closed my eyes when I hit that, and then after I hit it, I went, oh hello.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. So, although it looks compact, I think the extra technology in it does give you that, just a little bit of forgiveness that some of the more traditional blades don't give you.
Yeah. Good strike, that sounded good.
Yeah, the sound and feel is just, it's superb off this club.
Yeah.
It's just, you know you've hit a good shot. That instant feedback of, I've middled that, I've knotted that. And like you say, with some game improvement irons, you can hit it out the toe and get that same feeling. And then you get up the tee ball and like, why is that not done what I expected it to do? With this type of club, as soon as you've hit it, you're kind of knowing what's going to happen to that golf ball. You don't really need to look at it because you know what's happening, and that's why I love this type of iron.
And you've talked about it in previous reviews of this club, but you like that sort of white little stripe streak at the bottom of the blade, don't you?
Yeah, it just helps you. For me, when I line my shot up, I try and pick a target in front of the ball, and for me, having that white line just helps me align the head to that little target I put at the front of in front of the ball. Sometimes when you don't have that, it's a little bit like triple track or something on a putter. Yeah. You can see the alignments moved off, and I think that's what this is trying to do. It just helps you square it up a little bit better to the ball.
Yeah, I agree.
Am I holding 2 golf clubs here, Dan, or just one? What is that? No.
You're not convinced, are you, with the Titleist?
No. Like, although when you look at it like this, they look the same. But for some reason, when you put it down at the ball, this Titleist just disappears. Like, where's the golf club gone? No, that top line is super thin. That's like that literally makes this look like a game improvement iron. Yeah, that's how thin it is. This is as traditional as a blade gets, and this is like we said with the Hendriksen reviewing this. I couldn't play this club. I've got no confidence standing over the ball with this club at all. Although I've moved into a blade, I've kind of cheated a bit and gone into a big blade. If I went into this, I'd be a 28 handicapper by the end of the week. It's just no, thank you. Oh, get in the bag.
That was a good strike, though.
I found the middle on that one.
Yeah.
So out of that strike, the feel of this club is head and shoulders above the ping.
Really?
Out of that part of the club.
Yeah, where you've middled it.
Yeah. Obviously, I've hit shots in the series to get in the data. I struggled massively with this club. I've been all over the face. It's taken us a while to get the numbers. So it's not a club I could play on that basis, but when you get it out the centre, I've not felt a club that feels as good as this one in any blade or any club I've ever done. It just feels fantastic.
Your numbers then, Lee?
So my numbers, and we'll say with the Titleist, it took me a little while to get those numbers because it looked like the smallest golf club in the world. So I was getting in the toe a lot. But if we look at the ball speed, so the Titleist is actually coming off 2 miles an hour quicker, but it's got a bigger standard deviation. And that's a lot of missed strikes on my part, I think, and that's where that's come from. Launch angle, half a degree in it, not really a lot to talk about. The Titleist is coming in at 6.3, whereas the ping is 6.8. I prefer that spin to that spin.
I was going to say, we're both quite high in the spin today, aren't we, with ping?
Very spinny with ping.
Yeah.
Carry yardage, 6 yards difference, but the ping is a lot tighter, a lot more. I could play the ping a lot easier. The Titleist, although it's going further, it was just all over the place for me. I really struggled to get these numbers. But peak height, identical.
Yeah.
Just gets a fraction later with the Titleist. If we look at the club head data, efficiency identical. Head speed a little bit quicker when it comes to the Titleist. The Titleist is giving me less dynamic loft, which is interesting compared to the ping, considering the loft difference. But take all that out of the equation, and that's my problem with the Titleist. I was so scared of this part of the club because of how small it was. I tracked everything into the toe, and that's why the ping is a lot better when its consistency. The Titleist took me ages to get those numbers, let's be fair.
So to you then, after you've seen all the numbers, you've hit the shots, which one jumps out to you as the one that you would put in the bag?
For me, at my current level of golf, it would have to be the ping. As much as I would want to put this in, and as much as how good this feels when you get it out the middle, I don't hit it out the middle enough to justify it, but I can 100% see why someone like you, who's a good ball striker, would pick this over any club really, because of the way it feels, the way it sounds, the way it looks. It's superb. It's just, for me, that has to win because it's just helps me more. There's just no help in that at all. It's not long, it's not forgiving. It's the purest of pure ball strikers golf clubs, and I'm not that guy.
Shop appeal, when you walk into a shop and you see both of these on the shelf, which one are you looking at? Which one are you picking up?
You're instantly drawn to the Titleist because it's shiny, but I think the ping has got more shop appeal. The Titleist is literally just traditional, isn't it? There's no bells and whistles, it's just, this is a Titleist. Simple as that, whereas this just stands out. It's matte finish, it just looks a lot better on the shelf, but actually as a golf club I think this looks better. I just couldn't play it.
So the last thing I want to mention to you is price on these.
Yeah, big jump.
So we've talked about it in previous reviews with this one in the compare that we did with Hendriksen, but what is this? Why is that at the price that it's at?
The only reason, so obviously 220 a club, around 150 a club, recommended retail. There are discounts to be had online, etc. The only thing I can think of is, obviously this does have tungsten weighting, it's got aerospace aluminium, it's got triple forged like metals in it. It's got to be that process, or that costs more than what is effectively probably a billet of one piece of metal, and then it's milled. So I think that's where the difference in cost is. I just don't know if the manufacturing process, if that cost is justified, because we're not in that process. But it's a big 220 a club is a lot of money.
£70 difference.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
That's a lot of difference. Is there £70 worth of difference there?
Well, for me, yeah, because I can't hit this. It's about £220 worth of difference. So do you see the difference in price? Because obviously I couldn't really hit the Titleist.
No. I don't see £70 worth difference between these two clubs. I think when you hit them both really well, I think they both give you a similar feel. I probably would say that I think the feel on them is pretty much identical from both of them. I've really enjoyed using the ping. Obviously I've used the MB now for some time. I tried to move away from the MB, but I've kind of come back to it. I think that the Ping is something I could absolutely put in the bag tomorrow and have no problems with it. The numbers give me confidence, the feel gives me confidence, the look, I love it. I think from a confidence point of view, as Lee has quite rightly pointed out, the MB is just really small. It's a really thin top line, it's a very squat finish in the actual profile of the club, and I can understand why people would lose confidence in it, whereas I think the Ping probably wins over that. For me, which one would I play? Well, I'm using the Titleist and I will continue to use the MB. Would I go into the Ping? I think I probably could, and I think I would probably benefit just a fraction more with that extra help that you're going to get from that Ping. But we'd like to hear what you think about this. Which one would you put in the bag? Would you choose the Ping over the Titleist? Do you think there's a problem with the price point of the Ping over the Titleist? We'd like to hear what you have to say. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel and you like what you're seeing from our videos, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. We'll see you again very soon.